Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel EduVibe, where you learn smarter, not harder, where learning comes alive. Today we are start with the another unit, another chapter of grade 11 maths, which is the systems of equations and the inequalities. So we will learn about now the systems of equations and the mainly we were discussing about the inequalities. So what are inequalities and how can we solve the inequalities in different methods? Our today's topic is talking about the systems and the inequalities. This is just like a introductory video that how the systems and inequalities are related to each other, and we will learn how to solve this by the algebraically today. And the next video we will then start with the graphically method too. Some theory work like how is like words with this. So it's the this is just the like a introduct for the graphically. How can we like see that this is a graph for inequality or not? So the system of linear quadratic equations where you get the linear and the quadratic in the same graph. A linear equation and a quadratic equation involving in the same variables. When both are involving the same equations, they both have the same variables. Like if the linear one has the x variable, so the quadratic also has the x variable. So then we're talking about the linear quadratic equations. This is a system. The graphical system involves a linear and a line and a parabola. So in the linear one you have deal with the lines like this line, diagonal, horizontal, or the vertical. And in parabola you will write this. Like we see in our previous chapter, which we deal with the quadratic equations, we made like this type of parabola. One more system we have the quadratic equations, where you get the more both equations of the quadratic. Like we get the two parabolas, upward or downward. So there are two quadratic equations involving the same variables. They both have the same variables and they involve the two parabolas like this. The system of linear quadratic or the quadratic equations may have no real solution. They might be have no real solution. They might be have one real solution. They might be have two real solutions. So it depends that what kind of graph we're dealing with. So dealing with what type of graph, they tell us that how many solutions they have. And lastly, that the quadratic system of equations may also have an infinite number of real solutions. They might be have the infinite number of solutions because you know that parabola goes like infinity to, not the linear one. Linear sometimes goes, but not in like very few cases. But the quadratic equations of systems goes with the infinite number of solutions. So for that type of graphs, we have the graphs. Here we have a linear quadratic system. Here we have a quadratic system. So if we deal with this, like the first one has the parabola and has the linear one. So how can we see that how many solutions they? So if the linear and the quadratic touches to each other, like in this, they touches at this point. How many times they touch to each other? These are the solutions we get. Here they touches with the no point. They touches at any no point. So this will have the no solutions for this. In this, they touch at the 1 point. So this means they have a one real solution. In this, they touch at the 2 points. They have a two real solutions. In this, they touch at the nothing. They touch on the nothing. They are over there, is over there. So it's a zero solutions for this. No solutions. In this one, they touch at only 1 point. There's only one real solution. In this, there is a 2 points. They have a two real solution. So that's how you can deal with the solutions method. This is for only graphically. So now here we have the system equation graphically, but we made the graphs not very like a easy graph we made. They're the main inequality graphs which we made on the next video. So here we can example for this. They said that solve the following system of equation graphically, sketch the graph below and verify a solution graphically too. So you have to make the graph in this. So So here you can see that we have one linear one and we have one quadratic system. So it's a linear quadratic system of equations. So make sure you have one linear line on this graph and one parabola also. So how can we make this? So firstly, for the linear one, you have some point on this. So if we deal with this, like, you know about the substitution method, when we take, if we have a y on this, so if we take y and we isolate the y from here, so isolate this, the y goes over there, which is goes to the plus y, and over there we left with only s plus 1. So this ys plus 1, if we plug in this in our this value, so we get the x value of the quadratic equation. Once we get the x value, we plug in that x value in this and that our y value to make the graph for this. So let's do this by doing plugging this value in this equation of quadratic. So here we made it x squared plus 6x. Now our y is s plus 1 plus 3 is equal to 0. From here we get x squared plus 6x plus x plus 1 plus 3 is equal to 0, and we get x squared plus 6x plus x plus 3 and 4 is 3 and 1 is 4, we get 0, plus 6 plus 1x is 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. So you get a kind of a quadratic equation, so you know that how can we solve these equations. There might be, these should be the plus signs, minus signs. So you know how to the solve this quadratic equation. So we have the want a sum for minus 5 and we got product of 4. So how can we, which value we have to take? Like if we take 4 into 1, so we get 4, and 4 plus 5, 1 is equal to 5. To get this, we have s squared minus 4s, and we want minus 1s plus 4 is equal to 0. We get x in common and we get x minus 4, minus 1 in common, we get x minus 4 is equal to 0. We get x minus 4 and x minus 1 is equal to 0. When both we will calculate separately, we get 4 comma 1 for this. And if we want a y value, so we plug it over there, that y is equal to, if we put 4 plus 1, we get the y value of 5. If we put 1 plus 1, so we get the value of 2. So we get the two values for x and two values for y. So now you have to make the graph for this. You have a two x values 4 and 1 and the two y values 5 and 4. When you put x is equal to 4, you get the y value of 5. When you get x is equal to 1, you get the y value of 2. So 4 comma 5 and 1 comma 2, you have to plot these points first. So 1 comma 2 over there and 4 comma 5 over there. So a graph has to be touched on this both points, because these are the we can say these are the zeros for this graph. These are the solutions for this graph. So when you make the graph, like we have to make the graph on these points should be like touching to each other. Like this. This is just the random graph downwards. And over that line of x plus 1 goes the like this, that touches that both point together. So this point is 4 comma 5, this point is 1 comma 2. So that's how your graph looking like. And now they also said we have to verify this, so you can just verify 4 times. Like you put that 4 into this value to get is equal to 0, that y input over there to get, then this is equal to also 0. You have to put these two values 2 in this value to get this equal to 0. So this works if you do this. So you did all the work for you, and you get the verified answer because your graph is verified. And this will also you can made on the graphing calculator. I will explain you in the later on videos that how can you make this on the graph algebraically method. So I raise this sum and we get the same answers for this too. How can you do this now? So let's discuss this one. So if I have that equation too, I have this equation, and you have the two equations for this. So you have to just, what are you going to do? You can put that equations. Like firstly we have the 5x minus y is equal to 10. And this equation should be also like x here goes over there, and 5x upon, like we have the x in this because we have to align those things to get the values separate ones. So you get about this 5x, about this and this. Now in that case, in elimination method, you have to be any one value from this one, and any one value from this one should be same, which goes to 0 when we do plus or minus. So you always, when you have the two variables like x and y, so always you deal with only one variable when you solve this type of sum. That's why we do the isolate method for y here, to get the only x values in that equation. To get the only x value, then we find the y value. In that case too, if you then rid off the y value, so you get only x value in this. So you can solve easily with the x values, or you can ignore all the two x values to get the y value. But the most convenient way is to get rid of the y values first, because there's only one y variable in the both. So how can we do this? We just do it by multiplying. Here we have the 2y minus 2y, and here we have a y. If we multiply the first equation by 2, so we get the 2y over there. We're not thinking about the 10 or 5. We're thinking about only y value. That y value converts to 2, which will cut that 2 over there. After it, we will plug in the x values and the y values on this equation to get the y values. So hence you have to do, so you have to multiply this by 2. When you multiply, you get 10x minus 2y is equal to 20. Then this equation remains the same. So now here's the thing. Now you have to change the signs. Change the signs of these values to get the answer. So we have a positive addition over there. So we do the suppression. The addition, we do the suppression. Suppression, we do the addition. Suppression over there too, we have a suppression. So we have to solve this now. So x square remains x square but should be in minus now. Ignore the signs which are there. Like these signs should be ignored now. You have to ignore these signs. So here we get 10 minus x, 10x minus x, we get plus 9x. This is minus 2y and plus 2y. So get rid of this. So this is 0. Ultimately this remains 0y is equal to 20. So get this value and the y goes out. So you get only minus x square plus 9x is equal to 20. Or you can do x square plus 9x minus 20 is equal to 0. Now that minus is not very good in this. So you have to cancel that minus. How can you cancel it? Take minus common, or the whole the equation, take minus common, get x square. If minus goes out, you get the minus 9x. If minus goes out, you get the positive 20. This is equal to 0. So now you just get the very nice quadratic equation which comes equal to 0. That minus those over there or is on the side of the 0, and that's cut it. That cancels it. So now you have to have the sum of minus 9 and you have to want a product of 20. So I know that how can we solve this, so I solve it quickly by doing everything. So you basically take the 4 and 5 again, get the 4 and 5 over there to get the answer. So we're just doing the x and we get x minus 5 minus 4, x minus 5 is equal to 0. You get x minus 5, x minus 4 is equal to 0. Get the two x values of 5 and 4, which are the same, which we calculate by the substitution method. So for the y value, you know that y, when we isolate the y over there, we get the 5x. We get the 5x minus 10. So you can just plug it 5 first to get 25 minus 10, which is 15. Then doing just 5 into 4 minus 10, you get the 10 off there. So we have the y value of 10 and 15. So these are the x values of from elimination. These are the y values, which are the same values which you get. If you want to verify this, put that two values in this first and get the 0 is equal to, and these two on this to get the 0. So from this system equations, that way you get also the some kinds of that type of question you get where you have to deal with that word problems. So this is a kind of that word problem which we have to deal now. So let's deal with this with the easy way. Okay. So you just know about the English words, like how can we do this, and this. Okay. So we have determined the two integers. The first such that the sum of the smaller number and twice the larger number is 46. So in this sum, in algebraically sums, we have to just let in the values. We don't know what is two integers, so we let that. So we let a is equal to the smaller number, let b is equal to the larger number. So we get letting this. So they tell us that the sum of the smaller number, the sum of the small number which is a, which is addition by twice the larger number. This means 2b. Twice means 2. So that 2 into b, which is equal to 46. So you get the linear equation from there. So that's the English work. From English work, you have to convert it into the mathematical concept. Also, when the square of the smaller number, so now you do the square of the smaller number, is decreased by 3 times the larger number. Decreased by means, or decreased by means suppression, or the increased by means addition, and it 3 times the larger. So 3 times larger means 3 multiplied by b, and we get the result is 93. Now you get the two equations. Now you have to deal with this. So how can you deal with this? So you can isolate the a from the first equation. The first equation is the easy one. So you get 46 minus 2b. So from a you have to plug this in over there, which is 46 minus 2b squared minus 3b is equal to 93. So this leads to the long calculations. So there is a 46 minus 2b squared. So you know in the grade 9th or 10th, you can do in this the identity, which is like kind of a minus b whole square will give you a square plus b square minus 2ab. You can deal with that option. So in that case, you have to know that you have a knowledge for this. How can we do this? So that 46 is our a and 2b is our b. So you can just follow this rule, follow this again and do. And we have a of 46. So 46 into 46, you have to do in the calculator and you get 2116 plus b square of this. So b is 2b, so 2b into 2b, you get 4b squared, and the minus of 2ab, which is 2 into 46 into 2b. So when you can solve this 2 into 46 into 2, you get something about 187b, which is minus by 3b is equal to 93. And when you solve this, you get 4b squared negative of 187b and positive of 2023 is equal to 0. So we use the splitting the middle term method in the short type of sum, like in these types of sums. These are the so small values, but these are the big values. So this is a very difficult to solve like this. So we have another method to solve it by quadratic equation. So you know what is a quadratic equation? You had from your formula sheet 2. So which means we have now in that case we have a b. So instead of x we have to write b is equal to, but not by the not be the confusion in this. So you have a minus, you have to formula about x is equal to minus b plus minus the discriminant over there, which is 4b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Just do this and then the values. So we have a minus, we have another minus, so this is 187. So plus minus b square, which is 187 square, minus 4, a we have 4, c we have 2023, a we have 4. So this should be now equal to what? So now you have to deal with this, like this is 187, you have plus minus. When you solve this in calculator, you get about discriminant of 2601 and 2 into 4 is 8. So 187, if we do the positive addition of that 2 is a perfect square of 51 upon 8. Then we do the 187 minus 51 upon 8 again. Firstly addition, then the suppression. From here you get the about 29.75, and from here you get about 17. But let me think that the decimal value is not, the integer is not in that type of sums. We didn't do with the integer. So this value should be ignored, and we get the b value of 17. We get the b value of 17, and then with the a value, which is 46 minus 2 into 17, we get the a value of about 12. So you get a of 12 and b is 17, and these are the two equations we get. And you can check this by adding in both of this, and you can get the same value and you can verify that answer. For this first lesson of this unit, which is inequalities, we will deal with the inequalities more in the next video. You get the broad like description about how the chapter goes on. So next lesson we will deal with the inequalities with the quadratic and the linear equations. So learning made simple with EduVibe. Learn smarter but not the harder. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, let me in the comment section. See you in the next video. Till then, stay connected with EduVibe.